Life of Positive here with Pastor Brian, who loves his church and loves his sports. What is your favourite sport?
My favourite sport? I've got a lot of favourite sports.
Okay.
I pretty well love sport. I'm probably the worst sportsman in the world for more than one reason. One reason is I'm probably the most uncoordinated person that ever lived or close to it.
Well, at least you know it, because some people don't know.
And, the second reason is I'm probably the most competitive person that ever lived. So, yeah, I'm not great at playing sport. But
I think I've heard that a lot. I'm quite competitive. I don't like to lose anything. Is that one of the keys to being successful in life? And how do you balance that competitive spirit with not pushing people down?
I think you do. I think two things. Number one, I think you do have to be competitive.
Yes.
And if that's, that energy is really well directed and you're not using it in a way that's, comparisons in a negative sense, like the Bible talks about, like the Apostle Paul talked about. But you really are determined that you're going to win and that you're going to overcome and that you're going to, I think that's almost critical in lasting the long distance. To be placid and really have no competitive streak and really don't care what happens, no aspiration, you tend to do very little. So it's a positive thing.
Fantastic. Now, going on from that, another tweet you wrote about was a leadership goal is never to confuse strong, empowering, releasing leadership with controlling, manipulative leadership. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think a lot of, particularly young leaders, get confused between what is strong leadership and what really ultimately is controlling leadership. And to me, there's a huge difference, because strong leadership, to me, is definitely leadership that has a sense of, I know where I'm going, and it has a sense sometimes of directness. That means I can follow this, but it is all about ultimately bringing the best out of people, fulfilling potential, but not just my own potential, other people's potential. And so strong leadership gives you something to follow. Controlling leadership's a different thing. Controlling leadership is obviously, it squashes people, it sort of dominates people, it tends to crush people. And there's a big difference. I think sometimes younger leaders watch strong leaders and they somehow let those lines get blurred. And the fruit of it is ultimately always what we have to look at. And the fruit of leadership is in the people. And if people are blossoming, flourishing, their lives are flourishing, their relationships are flourishing, they're flourishing, then it's a good sign that strong leadership's healthy.
Yes.
But if in fact they're living their lives intimidated, sort of beat down, then it's not a good sign of fruit for leadership.
That's good. So we look at the fruit of people's life, because I've only been married 2 years, and I think you can apply this to marriage, because sometimes you feel as the guy, you want to be the leader and you want to say go here, but sometimes I felt like I was squashing my wife and not releasing her. And I think you've done it well, because you've got a grandkid now, and is it four kids? Joel, Ben?
We've got 3 children.
Yes.
We've got 1 granddaughter and 2 other grandchildren coming now.
Wow.
So
is that twins you mean, or 2 separate?
No. My daughter and my daughter-in-law are both having babies.
Yes. So as the head of the household, how did you lead in a way that was more releasing versus controlling? Because I think a lot of people really want to know.
I think I've probably made my mistakes along the way. I think people do make mistakes along the way, and because I am a strong leader, I think at times I've had to be careful that I don't cross over into being the kind of leader that squashes people.
Yes.
And so on. And hopefully age and maturity and experience helps you to know those balances and to see the difference in the fruit.
Yes.
But, in your heart, I think you know whether the way that you are leading people is in a way that's all about them.
Yes.
And really what's best for them, or whether it's more about you and your frustration.
Yes.
And, if it's more of a manipulative or a controlling leadership, it's really more about you and how you feel.
Yes.
If it's a strong, empowering leadership, it's all about them.
Yes.
Wanting them to be their best.
Fantastic. Now, you've written a lot of material. I think it's great that you've actually poured yourself out into resource that people can get to empower their lives. On the stuff we've been talking about, it's been a lot about leadership, but I think it does translate into spiritual excellence. Which one of the books you've written or resources do you think would be good for people to get that they can really sow into their life to just help them flourish?
Well, just last year I wrote a book called I Was Born, which is really about attaching your life to the cause that Jesus intended, and talks a lot about the difference between just living with vision and living with a cause. and really trying to help people to connect for the very reason they're alive. And I think that's a book I would love people to really read.
Yes.
The other one is we've got a whole little series of how-to books, how to live a blessed life, how to live in health and healing.
Yes.
And they're very practical, very small.
That's a good one.
read.
We've got that one.
Yeah, so I think some of those books are practical advice for people that can really help them to step up and live life in a powerful way.
Excellent. Pastor Brian, it's been a pleasure, but we're not finished yet. We've got some viewers' questions that have come in. Are you ready for these?
I'm ready.
Now, it's a quick 7 in 7 seconds, but it'll probably go longer than 7 seconds.
Right.
And you can say pass if you don't want to answer any of these. Pastor Brian, start the clock. What is the best thing about being a grandpa?
Having a grandchild. No, it is just a whole new dimension. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Do you have a lucky pair of underwear that you wear when preaching?
I have underwear that eventually my wife says enough's enough and they disappear.
I think all dads have those, don't they? Mine as well. What is your favourite topic to tweet about?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Leadership in life.
Now, there's probably more than one person that asked this question. I'm sure it was a female. When will Joel, your son, get married?
That's an area where really I've pretty well had to give up and say, God, this is entirely up to you.
Give this to you, Lord.
He's providing. I'm sure he's got it all in order.
Yes, I'm sure he does.
He seems happy.
He is. Can you do a wheelie on your Harley?
No.
No.
But
Have you
I
tried?
could do a wheelie on a different type of motorbike.
Okay.
No, I've never really tried to do a wheelie on my Harley, no.
Smart man.
I ride it like a Harley. It's
Well,
a
maybe
Harley.
if you did... Oh, yes, true. Maybe you did, you have a good story about your shoulder instead of the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Pastor Brian, it's been an absolute honour.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you at Vision Night, where we can find out what else is happening in the life of Hillsong Church.
Good stuff.
Hope you guys have been blessed. Spiritual excellence with Pastor Brian Houston.